Moving on to every Formula One driver's favorite track, the Suzuka GP, and all the upgrades that are coming to this Grand Prix. We have a lot of information on teams bringing upgrades here and some of our first big upgrades of the year. We saw parts in Australia, we even saw some parts in Jeddah and even the Bahrain Grand Prix as well. But here we will see significant changes to cars and some big parts coming to some big teams to be specific. The way this Grand Prix falls this year makes teams bring upgrades because of the next Grand Prix in China, to where teams will have to make modifications. So Japan will be the destination for these first big upgrades for teams. Before getting into the bigger part of the video and talking about these upgrades, I wanted to thank you all for 30,000. I mean, it's a number that I never even thought this channel would get to from the beginning, and it's just continuing to grow. And I'm very proud of what I have here and you guys being around and supporting the channel like you guys do. It means the world to me. I know I say that a lot, but I genuinely mean it. And your support means everything. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Let's keep killing it like we do. And let's get into the upgrades coming into Japan. As you guys know, on Thursday, I cover every single upgrade that comes. But let's get prepared as to what is supposed to be coming for this Grand Prix. I'm going to start from the smallest parts to what should be the biggest parts coming to this Grand Prix that we know of. Firstly, we know that the Sauber team has been super behind. I mean, this car isn't that bad in race pace. They probably could have had points and competed with Yuki in Australia, but with an average pit stop time of 14 seconds, you're not going to be catching anybody. You won't even be catching a Formula 2 car at this pace. Every single Grand Prix, they've had over a 30-second pit stop. I'm not sure what's happening with the crew and the equipment that they have, but they need upgrades there before they upgrade the actual car. There are some parts being brought. They brought a front wing in Australia. We'll have to see what they bring here. Nothing is confirmed, but Bottas has said that upgrades are coming to the Japan GP. The team in green, Aston Martin, has obviously had a tire degradation problem, specifically coming from the rear. The team is adamant on keeping Fernando Alonso around, and they are pushing these updates to come out as fast as possible. They had a front wing modification to where they twisted the front wing to change the angle of how the airflow is going on there, a little bit more lower downforce, and they say they have improved tire degradation from Bahrain to now. From listening to the radios and hearing what the team was saying, Fernando had the car set in a more front brake bias, but when they wanted more pace, they were setting the car to a more rear-oriented setup. That is when the car is at its fastest. But the tires grain really quickly. So these upgrades that are coming here should work upon that. This tire degradation problem is coming from high-speed corners. It seems like an aero problem rather than a mechanical one, so aero parts will be coming soon enough. Now the teams that are bringing the big upgrades here. Unfortunately, Mercedes and McLaren will not be bringing anything. Mercedes is having problems with their correlation in their simulator, and they don't know the path they want to take yet. And McLaren is still waiting on either Miami or Imola to bring a huge upgrade. They brought slight modifications to their rear wing in Australia, but yet again, Japan should be a great Grand Prix for them. The RB team, Racing Bulls, whatever you'd like to call them, they are bringing a significant upgrade here, and that will come with a floor upgrade. This is the first team in 2024 to bring a floor upgrade. Now, from what we know, there was an upgrade brought in the Bahrain Grand Prix for the Mercedes, but it doesn't seem to have made a significant impact on their car. Racing Bulls is a team that's very close to getting to that top 5. All those lower bottom midfield teams are. And they showed a lot of pace here in Australia. Will Japan be the same case? I'm not exactly sure. It's still tough to gauge where this car is when it comes to downforce and grip and high-speed cornering. They seem to be pretty good on tracks that have high speed in general, but also top speed. It's still a pretty good car when it comes to drag, something they were struggling with really badly in 2023, so that problem is not really there anymore. They've brought 3 different medium wing downforce specs already, and they've been able to reduce the weight on every single one of them from Bahrain to Australia. So the team is pushing, and last year they brought the most upgrades, so I expect Racing Bulls to be at it, and they really have been pushing on their upgrade system, specifically stating that Daniel Ricciardo has been a big help in where the team should be going towards. Now, obviously Ricciardo has not been having a great start to this season. I made a whole entire video discussing Ricciardo and his driving style and why it's not working for the team, so go ahead and check that out. But his feedback has been useful, and Yuki is still pretty young, at least I think, in feedback. They don't really mention Yuki when it comes to feedback like ever. Maybe it's not his strong suit, but he has been a stronger driver and upgrades are coming to this car big time. The scary RB20 is getting upgrades for Japan. Now, the biggest rumor, and I've stated in videos before, and it's been all over the internet pretty much, everybody talking about zero pods, RB20, that's going to be the biggest thing coming to Japan. Well, from everything that's being reported in an insider that actually spoke with the Red Bull team, that shouldn't be what is coming, but a different cooling layout, and that side pod system will look different. The actual reporter that reported that first zero pod system coming out back all the way in Bahrain ended up actually getting fired and laid off from the position when he made that report. It was something the Red Bull team didn't want to come out, this whole entire system and their upgrade that is coming to Japan, so it must be something big that is coming here. From the actual insider, at least that he claims that he's an insider, a major part that's supposed to be towards the side pod system, they say it's not supposed to be a zero pod, but something noticeably different to what they have currently. What this might entail, we're not exactly sure, but it is a big upgrade coming for that Red Bull RB20 car, and I actually can't wait to cover it because all the innovation on this car and just the actual look of it itself is quite exciting. And to see it getting more parts and upgrades this quickly into the season, they do have a competitor that is bringing parts here, so it'll be interesting to see if this gives them an advantage. I do expect them to be really strong here regardless, considering their pace last year, and high speed is something that's prominent on this Japan GP. It's going to be a good track for that Red Bull car. The team from Italy, the SF24, is getting parts here that are supposed to work upon their huge upgrade in Imola. Some people were saying that they're trying to fast track those upgrades from Imola. That is not the truth. From what we know in the reports, what they're saying is an extreme side pod design, similar to what Aston Martin is kind of running right now with this huge underbite and that big lip that comes out of the side pod design. The Ferrari should be following that in a very similar way. They say the car is getting an extreme makeover, a very aggressive look to its SF24, and Fred Vasseur says this car is an easy car to drive and develop. I mean, if you're a Ferrari fan, those are the best words you can be hearing for 2024. The mentality over there has completely shifted. With Fred Vasseur, there is no excitement for getting a podium. It's wins, and that's what they want. That's why he is fast-tracking some upgrades to come here to Japan, rather than waiting all the way to the European leg. He expects his team to be competing with Red Bull, and the upgrades that are coming here are supposed to be a good advancement in their aerodynamics, but not as big of an upgrade that's going to be coming to Imola. That will be the major significant change to Ferrari, but they are looking to compete here, and some parts are coming that are set to be from their Imola upgrade, but just additions right now for the Japan GP. These are exciting times getting into this whole entire upgrade war, because we can see that Ferrari has a lot of pace. Red Bull talks about on the graining tracks that the Ferrari is the better car, but when it comes to thermal degradation, that is where the Red Bull is just a monster and will continue to be. They say they're working upon that. Does that mean they're going to tweak some of that aero system towards the rear part of their car or front to help with that graining? It's very possible, but let's see how they work upon this cooling system that they currently have. The car has had a little bit of reliability issues, and it's clear to see that this car isn't as well balanced as the previous car was currently. There's still a lot more to add to this car, and we got to keep in mind that the RB19 was pretty much a 2-year car from the RB18, and they barely upgraded the car. They were able to work on the perfect setup. Still beginning of the season, I still expect Red Bull to get super strong, and Max is still very happy with this car. With all these upgrades, are you guys excited for the Japan GP? Because I sure am. First of all, it's a beautiful track, but secondly, these upgrades coming, I love covering that for you guys, and it's going to be a big week for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.